Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Rowe. We're looking in Geometry Part A. This is Lesson 9, and we're going to look at congruent triangles. So we've looked at some relationships that we're going to talk about, and we're going to just kind of look for a few seconds at some triangles. We're going to decide if they can be proven to be congruent based on what we're given. So we're going to take a look at this example. So we're going to look at the markings and see what we're told. So I've got one side congruent to another side. I've got two sides congruent to two sides, and three sides congruent to three sides. So I can say, yes, these are congruent. And I can say that they are congruent by side, side, side. So that's what we're trying to do in this part of the lesson. So let's take a look at the next example. So based on what I see here, can I prove using one of the postulates or theorems that we've talked about to show that these triangles are congruent? Let's take a look at what we got. We got an angle and an angle. And I've got the next angle here. So we got, two angles. And then is there anything else that we can show that is congruent? Well, if we look right here, we've got a side. So I've got an angle, and a side. Angle, and the same side. So again, I can say yes, and this will be by angle, side. All right, let's take a look at the next example. Can we prove that these are congruent based on what we see? So again, let's take a look at what we got. We've got a side that's congruent to this side. So far, so good. We've got a side, but this one doesn't match up. So let's I don't know what we got here. We can't do this because the wrong angle will be included. It will be this angle. So I can't use side. I can't use side, angle, side. So we would say no. These are not congruent because corresponding parts do not end up being congruent. So let's take a look at this one. Is there any way to show that these two triangles are congruent? So let's look at my markings. All I've got is angles. I've got an angle, I've got an angle, I've got an angle, I've got an angle. I have no sides where there's no angle congruence. So again, this would be a no, that these are not congruent. We don't have enough information. Let's take a look at this one. What do we got here? So it looks like we've got a side congruent to a side. So that's good. That's a side. I've got an angle right here. Right angles are congruent. So we've got an angle. Do we have another side or another angle that we can use? Well, yep, we got this side right here. So we've got side, angle, side. So this would be yes. And side, angle, side would be the reason. So just make sure you can match up one of those pairs of angles that we've talked about in the lesson. Let's take a look at this last example here. Do we have enough information for this one? So we've got an angle. We've got a side. We've got an angle. We've got a side. Do we have another angle? Well, yes, we do. We've got vertical angles right here. So we've got angle, side, angle. So this would be a yes. And the reason would be angle, side, angle. So that's what you had to do to kind of look at what you're given and determine if you have congruent triangles, if you can prove that these triangles are congruent. So I hope this helps you with that part of the lesson. If you struggle with this, please let us know in a teacher message or make an appointment for a help session.